Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time of day it is. I'm glad you're here. So, I am going to show you guys how to make this fun little folio or ephemera holder, whatever you want to call it. It's like a little three-fold pocketed design that closes on its own, and it's got a number of pockets in it. So it's got a pocket down here and a pocket here and a big pocket here. So you can make these in just about any kind of combination. They're kind of fun to play around with once you kind of get the basic idea of how it works. And they're super simple, and you can use whatever you have on hand for both the paper itself, the base, and decorating and things. So what can you do with these? You could use them as a little gift holder for like a gift card. That would be fun. You could put them in your journal. You could send them as happy mail. I'm just going to turn a couple pages in this little journal I've been kind of slowly working on, just to kind of give you an example of some things you could do. You could fasten them onto a page, making it a big pocket that then opens so you could have a tuck spot behind it, or glue it down. You could make it a belly band by just gluing the top and the bottom. So there's one example. You could, of course, even just put it on a blank page like that, so that it's a fun little thing that we find when we're going through a journal. Or in a big pocket to tuck it in, so you have a fun surprise in one of those big pockets. So there's lots of versatility that you can do with these friends too. Like, oh, that would be pretty on a page like that as well. So lots of options. I just wanted to kind of show you a couple little things with an actual journal so you could see what you could do with these fun friends. What do you need for supplies? First of all, you're going to need some paper. I have some book page. I also have some of our jelly printed, and this was our resist that we did with crayon, or other book pages. So these are from a gardening book. So big, huge images. You can make these in all different sizes, but sometimes the offcuts that we have, or just really pretty images, can be really fun. You want a little bit sturdier paper when you're doing these, so keep that in mind, something pretty sturdy. You can use glossy, you can use matte, you can use whatever you want. I'm not a purist when it comes to you can only use a certain type of paper. Use what you have fun doing it. So what I did, just to kind of give you some examples, since I did this one in a gardening motif, I thought this page from a science encyclopedia was fun. This comes from the science library. I pulled this out of here. I broke this book down first so that I could get full pages out. So that's what this page specifically is from. And this is from 1970 is when it was printed. So there you go. So I'm going to show you a couple of options. So with the folding, let's start with this little guy. Do we want to start with the little guy? I kind of want to do this friend. So, because I really love this, and I think it would be really fun to make one of these pockets out of it. So first of all, whichever side you are going to decide how big you want them first. So this one is about 6.5 this way, and once it's folded, it's about 3.5. So think about how big your journal is if it's going into a journal, or if you have a specific size envelope, you want to make sure it'll fit into whatever size you're doing. So then if we have it all laid out like this becomes a little over 8.5, or not quite 8.5. It's 3/8. And then we're going to do extra folding. So it was obviously bigger. These are folded from the front as well. So you can see this was probably about the same size originally as a standard sheet of paper. So that can kind of be a guide as well, if you think about it. So maybe we'll just do that. We'll just kind of bring this down to show you the size we're looking at. Okay. So our folds, so you're going to do a tri-fold. So let's go like this. And I want one side to be much bigger because we are going to have this flap folded in two. So maybe, because I don't want to do that yet. So let's do the bottom up first. So we're going to fold this up. You can use a folding board if you have one. So that's a little shorter. I'm okay with that. And then we're going to give this a good smooshy fold here. So I'm using a bone folder to make sure my folds are nice and crisp. Okay. Now we know how far up this is going to go, so that's good. So now I'm going to fold this back down. Maybe kind of crease it a little so I can see where it is. And then if you want to do a side flap, you can. You don't have to. And then we want to think about where our front flap is. So let's do our front flap first. So we're going to bring this in a little bit. Might be a little far. Let's go about here. And there's different ways that you can do the fastening of the flap itself too. And this is cardstock, by the way. So this is a heavier duty cardstock. There we go. Now, you see this bit here? We're going to end up cutting that out because we don't need it. Okay, so that's going to be one piece that gets removed. Now we need to think about where we want this to close. So this needs to go here. So I'll do it this way so you can, so here's where our fold is. And I think right about there should be good. Let's go see what it looks like. And you can make these in just about any configuration too. So the more you play with it, the more fun you'll have. So that's going that way. Okay. And now we need to get this flap in. So we have a guideline for where we need to be. And we want it just inside this so that it'll close, or right at that. Yeah, just inside. Hopefully this is making sense. We'll do a couple. I'm actually going to fold it this way and then I'll fold it back. Just so that I make sure we don't get it too far in. Mark it here. Then we're going to do its good crease this way. So I don't have like perfect dimensions to give you because every single one of these I make is a little bit different. Okay, so now we have that big part. Then this will be able to close like so. Okay, now our bottom pockets, we're going to trim those up. And I'm going to do a little something different with this one too. I'm going to nip the corners once we get to that part. And that could make it really fun. So first off, we're going to cut this bit off or out. I need a decent scissors. Here we go. So I'm just cutting right along the fold line there and there. Okay, so now we have something like that. Okay, now next we're going to cut down here because we don't need this piece either. Okay, and then this is going to fold up for this pocket. And this can fold back here, or you can leave it open so that this folds this way. Like there's lots of different options that you can do. You wouldn't need to have two pockets here. You could do your own variation. So now what I'm going to do to take out the bulk in the center, I'm folding it like this, and this is where our two pockets are, and I'm going to cut at an angle to that point, just slightly. just to take out a little bit of the bulk right in the center of this so it'll lay flat and fold nicely. So it's basically like you're cutting out like a really long thin triangle. Okay, so now we have something like this. So then here's where our little flappies come up, like so. And now this one can come in. So what I'm gonna do with this one, I'm gonna angle this a little bit just to make sure it fits nicely in that pocket as well. Now you don't need to glue that in at all because this pocket will hold it in place when we glue this one, okay? And this one we will then also glue, and I'm just making sure we're not gonna have any issue here and it's good. So next, if you wanna add a thumb hole or something, this would be the right time to do it. So I'm going to do that on both of these, but I'm gonna do them at the same time so that they're gonna be the same. If you hear loud plane noises, it's because there's loud planes going overhead. Okay, so I'm holding these together so that these are gonna be pretty even on both sides. And there we go. Okay, so thumb holes there. That goes there. Oops, that goes there, like so. Now I'm gonna put a thumb hole in this one as well, but I'm gonna do it up higher, kind of about up here. Now, next, see how we got this all in, up, this way, that way. Very cool. I love it. Fun, fun, fun. Now, let's ink before we glue. That'll be easier. So basically, that's what you get. You have a big rectangle with some 2 little rectangles on the bottom. Could you cut it out of some pieces and glue them in? Yeah. You could do that too. You could glue in pockets instead of folding them in. There's different options that you could do with that as well. So, inking. I'm gonna ink this quick. I'm just gonna grab a piece of scrap paper and I'm gonna ink, and I want a bright. We have, so I want to ink the edges and I want something really, really bright. How about, peacock feathers maybe? That might be a nice bright color. I think that might be a good bright. It's kind of like an electric blue, which is kind of what we're doing with this journal, because this is going to go into our neon journal. That's why I'm making this one, or go with it, I should say. So I'm just inking the edges. You don't have to. This is a step you don't have to include if you don't want to. So I'm going to ink this. I'll probably fast forward. Okay, inking is done. I just think it gives it like a nice little frame out, especially with that bright color. It kind of helps bring it down a little bit. Okay, so now this would be, if you wanted to decorate in here, you could do that. If you want to put those little, I don't know what they're called, those little things with the string, those little closures, I don't remember what they're called, but those little things, that would be when you would want to put them on now, because you'd want it behind this pocket. If you do something like that, put a piece of tape over them so then it won't catch things in your pocket too if you're doing it that way, whether you use them with a brad or eyelids. But I'm just going to use my circles to do it with, so to make the closure. So that's what we're going to do with this one. Okay, so now we're going to glue. So we're going to glue our pockets down, and then we're pretty much done. Like, they don't take that long to make, honestly. So little bead of glue, little bead of glue. Give them a really good smoosh. And then same here and here. Make sure you get, if you want this pocket in, make sure you get that folded in there first. And then a smoosh and a smoosh. And now I am going to do one more little step on here because I think it's fun. So I'm going to take a corner rounder and round the corners. Ooh. And maybe not this corner rounder. That one says no. Doesn't work with really thick paper. That one does though. Ooh, that's gonna be tight. Might not be able to do the bottom part, but the top looks nice. So we'll do leave the top. Maybe we'll just do this corner. And this one. Oh, that was wonky. Do this one too. All right, now let's make the little closure for this, and I'm going to cut circles out of these pieces that we had left over. So I think a yellow one is going to look good. Try and get as much of the yellow on this one. Uh-oh. No, friend. Not as sharp as it used to be. I've had it for a while. Okay, so there's our first circle. And I want to do a 2-circle stack. So now I'm going to take, I think, this more red with the smaller circle. Let's see, maybe this splatter here is fun. Let's do that. All right, let's ink those quick. I just want the edges on these. And I'm okay that this one is a little ratty too, because I mean, it's supposed to be a grungy journal anyway, so I might even do this a little. Yeah, that'll be a fun texture. Give it a little bit of difference. Now these two get stacked like this. So this is just making like a little sturdy closure out of 2 circles. That's all I'm doing. So this friend is going on here. Close to the center. And then this friend is going to go right on here. So you want it kind of in the middle. And then you're going to put glue on this side. Not quite to the halfway point. Almost did that very poorly. Like so. Okay. And there you go. Now that could be done. You could leave it as is, or now you get to have fun and embellish it. This one, I don't think I'm going to do much with. Maybe add some stamping to it later on or something, but that, to me, this is really, really pretty. So then once this dries, I'm just holding it firmly for now. That circle is going to do all it needs to keep this flap closed. And now we have some pockets to put some fun goodies in. So we're going to let that friend dry. I'm going to set a book on it actually, just to give it some extra zhuzh. And now let's fold one more, and we're going to use that dictionary page because I want to show you how to make a big one. So I'm going to, since this is a full page, I'm going to utilize this crease as my fold over flap as well. So now to figure out the best way to do it to keep as much of this beautiful design as possible. So I think we're going to make it go the opposite direction, and we're going to only put 2 pockets in it. Yes, so let's go like this. And then this will be the flap over. I love that. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to tuck that into the flap. Make sure everything's nice and straight. And then score that like so. And then we need our flap here. So this is going to get cut. So I'm going to take this to the paper cutter. Or no, I've got a paper cutter in the drawer. And we're going to cut this down to where we want it to be. So we want it to come at least to this line. And that is ruler. 1.5, little over 1.5. So from our fold, oh, biscuits. So we're going to go 1.5. We're going to go a little bit over. We can always cut it down some more if we want to, need to. Perfect. Yeah, that's good. I like that. All right, so now it's going to open this way. This one's only going to have 2 little pockets in here. And now we got to have our big pocket. And we're going to make these really big since this is a smaller one. Or do we? Let's do it right about... We have this line to go off of, so I'm going to utilize the line. So we have 2 gemstones tall on the bottom here. It's so funny. Trying to get it right on that line. It's pretty good. So you get to see a couple variations of these right off the bat. So now we're going to cut our pocket. So I'm going to make my triangle here. Like so. So pocket, pocket. And now we're going to cut this one out as well. And I'm going to go just inside my fold line there and there. Okay, boom, boom. Well, this and that. So you can see how we can have it be different directions, and we don't have to do that third flap if we don't want to. It's up to us. We make the decisions. Do we want to ink this friend? Yes, we do. Let's use... So I'm going to ink this quick. And let's just use some... Actually, I want walnut stain. I want it a little lighter. Ground espresso is a little dark for me today for this one. So let's use walnut stain. So, walnut stain. All right. All right. All inked. Did some little corner cutting and nipping. So when you do that on those corners, those bottom corners, make sure you put a little bit of glue there too. So that one and that one. Good smoosh. Same here. Now, closure for this one, I think, do we want to do a circle or do we want to do something else? Let me see if I have some fun circles already made up that'll go with this. Kind of darker. That one I don't hate. Okay, I don't really like any of these friends. Plain red one? No. No. Okay. What do we have that we can use easily on the desk? Oh, you know what? Let's do instead. Let's use one of these friends, okay? Or we can go this way. So this is just like a tick from a ticket punch, and I think that'll work good. Let's ink it and see how it looks. And this is from some packaging. It's about the middle. Yeah, I like that. That looks good. Let's do it. Let's do it. See, it's from Tim Holtz packaging. Funny. So same way. Put it on about your halfway point. Get some glue on there. I like that I have this grid to work with on here. And then that will hold that little flappy down. It's a good use for some of your little die cuts too. Little things like this. I'm sure you have some other die cuts that would be interesting. Like you could do a butterfly closure like that too. Oh, that actually kind of looks cool. And it could tuck under, like you could glue it down all the way like that and it could tuck under. That actually looks really pretty like that. Let's do it. Let's ink it a little first. And then we'll put that on there as well. See what happens when you just play around with stuff. Get some good ideas. And because the wings themselves are pretty, and this is on cardstock, they'll be nice and sturdy to be able to hold up to tucking that flap in and out and everything. Because we're just going to cheat it down just like that. Oh, that's such a great idea. So I need to be right about where the head is here and then do all of this bit. So this gets here and then we'll go like this. Oop. Might have been up a little high. We'll make it even, sneak it down. Should be good. Nice, nice, nice. And then while they're drying, I like to pull them out just in case my glue got a little bit crazy. But it should be fine. Okay, so that is a couple folded for you guys to show you how to do this. Let me know if you have any questions. That's pretty much it. I'm not going to do much decorating on these because I actually really just like this one the way it is as well. Like that could be so pretty just as is. Another thing you can do with these guys too is if you make them a little bit bigger and sturdier, you could make them as a cute little journal. You could stitch in some pieces of paper in the middle or something like that too. Just taking it up a notch. But I think this one is really fun. That could be really cool for a field journal, field style journal or something like that. It'd be super fun. Why aren't you going in here? I think it's because of the paper on the inside. What are you doing? Oh, these. I just have to mush those down a little. There. No worries. So that was our second demo. It went smoother than the first one. That's okay. And this very bright friend that should be able to fit in our little journal, our grungy, neon grungy. And then of course I have to unbury this one over here, my original one, to show you guys how these can look. So you can see 3 very different styles here, but all on the same premise. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all that fun jazz. And art with your heart. Have a great day. Bye.